Your growing journey can be hard work. And when you bring kids along on that journey, it's hard to always be working. And that's why it's important as growers with kids to include fun. We have to schedule the fun. Growing doesn't have to be all about work. It can be fun too. And today in this episode, we're going to be talking about how we can schedule fun on the homestead with our kids. Let's get growing. Hello and welcome to the Pray Just Plant podcast, the show that talks about growing a garden, a homestead, a healthy family, and most importantly, growing closer to God. I'm your host, Crystal Media, owner of the Red Ridge Farm Homestead, where our mission is to help women of faith find the courage to grow healthy food for their family while building a closer relationship with our Lord and Savior. If that's you. Don't let the world hold you back. Pray Just Plant. Welcome to the Pray Just Plant podcast. I'm your host, Crystal Media, and today in this season 7, episode 4, we're going to be talking about scheduling fun on the homestead. Lots of times, including myself, I always get in the habit of, this is the project I want to do. This is what we need to get done today. These are the chores that we have to get done. Then we want to do this project. And I forget about the fun. I think that's just my personality. But when you have kids on the homestead, you can't forget about the fun. You've got to entwine the fun in the growing journey, or it just becomes a working journey. It doesn't become a journey that we ourselves enjoy or our kids enjoy. So today in this podcast, we're going to be talking about how we can schedule fun, how I'm kind of reminding myself to include fun in the everyday tasks on the homestead and much more. So first of all, we need to put fun in the work. Yes, growing takes work. We have gardens to weed. We've got goats to milk. I personally have goats to milk. I don't know what your chores are. There's chores that need to be done. We've been dealing with a drought for the past 3 years, and now we're having so much rain that grass is up to our hips. So we have more grazing we have to do. We have more moving of the goats and more moving of our cows and more work, right? And it does have to get done. But does it have to be a drudgery? Does it have to be something that is not enjoyable? Can't we not make our work fun? Can't we not race to see who got which garden bed weeded faster? When we're going out to do evening chores, my kids love to take their swords, that their play swords with us, and they have a little bit of sword fighting up to do the meat chickens, and then we do the meat chickens and they sword fight on the way home. And they don't see that chores only just work. And I know from myself, I have to include the fun. I have to include things that aren't just drudgery, or I need to make them fun in my own head. I need to maybe compete against myself. I'm going to finish this really quick, and then I get to go on a walk through my garden. And we're going to talk about rewards in a little bit. That's a different type of thing, but we have to have fun in the work. We have to joke. We have to tease each other, especially in a family dynamic. It doesn't always have to be about working. We can make it fun. Who says that you have to haul manure in just a sled? Why can't you get the four-wheeler out and make it fun? Why do you have to do things in a drudgery manner? Can't we approach work with a lighthearted, playful attitude? We have to include that fun in our work. So not only is the work getting done, but the work goes by really quick because we're maybe not so focused on the work. Maybe we're not so focused on the drudgery. We're focused on the fun. And I know I see that in my kids. Me personally, I'm like, can't we just get this job done? I have another job I need to do. But when we take the time to just have a quick, little sword fight up to the meat chickens, or a little sword fight to go move the cows, or just enjoy the cows. We have a bottle baby that we raised last year, and he is just so loving. Why can't we take 3 minutes, 5 minutes before we move him to give him a really good pet and joke with the kids and or race down there, or just have fun in some other aspect? I don't know what it can be, but sometimes it's just our mindset. If we go looking at work as just drudgery and just work, and we don't find fun in it, or we don't even approach it with a fun attitude, our growing journey can seem not boring, I guess the word would be, but just work. And when we have kids in this situation, how are we supposed to have them enjoy working if we don't find the fun in it? Whenever my kids go out to do a chore, or they go, now that I have teenagers, they go out to do their job, or they go to do anything, I don't say work hard and do a good job. I say have fun. Because if you can find something in life that you have fun doing, it'll never be work because you're having fun. And sometimes that's what we need to find as our vocation. Now, do we need to focus always on that if we're not having fun, then we can't get any work done? I think there's a balance, and it shouldn't be all work and it shouldn't be all fun. It should be a balance between the two. Next thing is, as a homesteader on a growing journey, it's really hard to get away from it. We as a society feel that if we want to have fun, we got to go on vacation. If we're going to have fun, we've got to travel to the mountains, or we're going to go do this and go do that. But why can't we find fun at home? Why can't we, as a family, after the chores are done, why can't we light the fire for the evening and roast up s'mores? Is that not fun? Why can't we include that at home? What about buying a trampoline? That's what we did here. The kids wanted something to do, something to be fun with the family. But instead of, we could have bought a Y membership, or which we have because my husband uses it when he works in town. But why do we have to go to the movies or go somewhere to have fun? Why not invest in a trampoline that brings fun home? And after we're having fun with the working, it's a nice reward. And we're going to talk about those too in a moment. But can't we bring fun home? Why can't, instead of we're having supper all around the dinner table, why can't we just move supper outside and do a picnic? Isn't that fun? Isn't that different? Isn't that a change? We don't have to go out to a fancy restaurant to have fun. We don't have to go to town. We don't have to leave the homestead to have fun. We can find fun at home. In this day and age with the TV and games, we can play board games, right? The only video game that I can play is Mario Kart. So we have Mario Kart competitions, but it's happening at home. Why do we have to go somewhere? As a grower on a homestead, it's really hard to go, isn't it? If we want to go on vacation for a couple days, we've got to try to find someone who will watch the animals. Me personally, I have dairy goats, so I have to find someone who will milk. It's really stressful leaving the farm. To me personally. To my kids, they don't really see that as much. And I'm always calling up the farm sitter and asking how everything is. And I can't completely relax. And personally, I can't really relax on vacation because I'm not sleeping in my own bed. But that's just me. So why can't we bring fun home? Why can't we find fun in our everyday lives? And especially with the streaming things that they have now, we've now started to do home movie nights. And we still make some cookies, pop some popcorn, and we still have all the same fun we would have had going to the movie theater or going into town to do this or that at home. We get a football out. We have fun out in our pasture playing a little bit of football. We get the swords out like I talked about before. The kids, I have 3 boys, so they like to sword fight. My husband loves to do it with them too. We bring fun home. The trampoline, when they were younger, it was something that was every single night. We'd spend hours out on the trampoline jumping. Fun doesn't have to be a long vacation. Fun doesn't have to be 3 days away from the farm or even a day away from the farm. If you bring fun home and incorporate fun at home, you're going to be able to have more fun more often. Because how many times can I go on vacation every year? Probably once. And usually we schedule it every 2 to 3 years. We have a schedule with our meat chickens. We raise them. And 1 year we stock up a little bit more so that the next year we can go on a little bit of vacation. And in fact, most of the time that we take vacations here in Wyoming or on our homestead is in the winter because my husband is also in construction and that is very busy in the summer. So it's really hard for him to get away. So we take a lot of vacations in the winter. But even in the winter, we can go on hikes up our hill. We can get out our cross-country skis and we can ski on the neighbor's property. We can have fun at home. So we're going to get into the next tip in a minute, but now it is time for the tips and tricks segment of this episode where I share a few bonus tips and tricks I use here at Red Ridge Farm. This week's tip is brought to you by the Planning Beyond the Harvest handbook. This handbook was designed to help you get your harvest onto your family's plates. We grow all this delicious food And sometimes in the garden planning, we forget about the harvest and beyond the harvest. This workbook will walk you through the 5 steps that I use to get beyond the harvest. You can grab your copy at redridgefarm.org/resources. This week, we're talking about pruning tomatoes. Why do we need to prune tomatoes, and do all tomatoes need to be pruned? Well, why do we prune tomatoes? It's mostly so that the tomato itself doesn't put all its energy into the foliage. It helps it also begin to start setting fruit because it's beginning to be placed under stress. Now, do all tomatoes need to be pruned? No. Determinate tomatoes don't need to be pruned at all. And if you want to prune them, all you're going to be doing is getting the little suckers out. And that's a sucker is, and I'll put a picture in the show notes. A sucker is right in between the two, there's the stem and then a branch of leaves coming out. There might be another branch of leaves growing right in the crevice of that, and that's called a sucker. So on determinants, that's usually all you pull out, unless there happens to be flowers on those. So you got to watch. Some determinants actually put their flowers in that sucker position. Now, indeterminates, they're going to need to be pruned more heavily because these mean that they don't have a determinate size. They're more of a vine. So that to help them put their energy into fruit and not necessarily growing really, really long, you may need to head them off. You may need to pull suckers as well as trim up some of their leaves so that the fruit can be exposed to the sun is the other reason that you prune. So if you want to learn more about pruning, be sure to go back and check out some of my later lives that I do on Facebook. Did you know that over on our Facebook channel, each of these tips that I share with you also live, and I actually show examples. So last year, I think it was about mid-May, and hopefully it's still up on Facebook, I did like 4 or 5 lives in a row about pruning tomatoes. Now, if you're in the School of Growing, you can go right to the weekly tips section and find all of my lives. Be sure to just go to my website, www.redridgefarm.org, to try to find anything about pruning tomatoes. Back to scheduling family fun on the homestead. The next tip is not always working. We need to have days that are saved for not working. It comes to also on our growing journey with the Lord. He gives us a day of rest. He asks us not to work on that 7th day. And whichever 7th day it is for you, Saturday or Sunday, the point is he's asking you to rest. And that is what we also need to do here on the homestead. Every day does not need to be about working. I struggled, even just yesterday, to not do a project because it was our day of rest. I made the plan for the week. I tried to say, I'm going to read my book more. But I finally had to tell myself, okay, I'm going to go out, do a little tiny project, maybe 15, 20 minutes. But then I'm going to come in and read a chapter of my book. And I can't go do another project or another little bit of work until I read that full chapter, until I relaxed and read a chapter. And I couldn't just speed read through it. I needed to relax. And I tried to pick just jobs that were just small. I didn't do a big, huge project, but I felt discouraged about not doing anything. It's summer. I need to be out working on something. But because I rested yesterday, because I took the time to read and spend some time with the Lord and spend some time with my family. We went out and saw my parents and visited with them and had dinner and just spent a day not working on my growing journey, Yes, I thought about things and I researched things. It was really hard, but I tried not to focus so much on it. I tried to focus on the family because one part of our mission here at Red Ridge Farm is to help you grow a garden, a homestead, and a healthy family. That's why I'm sharing this podcast episode, is because as a family, especially running a homestead, you are growing together. You're growing together, and you have to find some kind of fun if you're going to keep going through it year after year. There's going to be burnout. And thank the Lord, the growing season or the growing schedule has times of rest put in it. At least here in Wyoming, we don't do much growing, as in physical labor work, in December, January, and February because we just can't go out, get outside. Chores take about an hour a day. And then the rest of the time, we of course homeschool, and then I can spend it planning next year's garden, and I can spend it doing all my research and reading and learning, but I'm not doing the same thing over and over again. So we have to also do that in the midst of summer when the growing journey is moving forward at rocket speed. We have to remember that we don't always have to work. We don't always have to do a project. We can have some fun, even if it's just for a day, or even if it's for 15 minutes, or even 20 minutes, or 30 minutes, or 2 hours. Taking that break to read the book, or take the kids to the lake, or take the kids down to the river to swim, or any fun thing that maybe just takes a small break out of your working is going to be beneficial, and it's going to make work when you come back so much more enjoyable because you will not be so stressed out and so strapped. So try not to always work on your growing journey. Include fun or include rest. Rest is very important. So we talked about earlier that we were going to mention something about rewards, and we can make reward fun time. So as growers and having kids on our growing journey, one of the best ways to really get kids enjoying their growing journey or enjoying the work is to give them a reward after. Does this have to be money? No. Does it have to be sweets and treats and good things they like? No. It can be fun. It can be pretty much anything. Okay, we're going to finish weeding this row of beans, and then we're going to go listen to our audiobook for an hour. And then we're going to come out and do maybe another one, or we'll be done for the day. Whatever, but it's a reward. And it needs to be a reward that is enjoyable. And it's not all about getting things. It could be about spending time together. So maybe your reward is we're going to get these paths done in the garden, and then we're going to go, you guys going to have 3 hours playing your video games, and I'm going to have 3 hours of going in and reading my book or taking a nap. That can be a reward for the hard work that was put in. It can be a reward on those days that you're taking off to go to the lake. That can be a reward. Say, oh, we worked so hard this week. You guys really helped me out, and I really appreciated what you did for me. And look at all the things we got done. Yes, a job well done is a reward in itself, and it should always be a reward in itself. We should always be complimenting our kids. We should be always telling them how well they did. But on the other side, we also need to be telling them when they don't do well. Now, do we base the reward on how well they did? Maybe, but maybe not. If you're struggling with a child who just doesn't really want to do the job or doesn't get involved in the job and be all happy-go-lucky, does that mean he doesn't get a reward when the job is done? No, he finished the job. He did the job. He should be still included in the reward. Now, did he do it with the best attitude? No, he didn't, but he or she did it, correct? So if a whole family is getting the reward because they finished weeding the green beans, then the whole family should be still getting the reward. Now, him having the begrudging attitude through that was his choice. And to me personally, that means he just had a bad attitude through it. Does that mean he probably won't have the bad attitude again? Probably not. Did I let him not do it and then still get the reward? No, he still had to finish it. So if our reward was that we're going to go jump on the trampoline after we got the beans done, but he was dawdling, getting very slowly done with the beans, then he or she wouldn't come over to the trampoline as quickly. Did he choose to take too long and maybe he didn't get to spend as much fun with the family? That was his choice, but he still got the reward. Now, if we were only jumping on the trampoline for a couple hours or even 30 or 40 minutes, but he wasn't back yet because he didn't finish his work, well, maybe he doesn't get as much reward, but that was his choice to go slow and to not join us in the trampoline. So I think a reward should always be tied to finishing the job, because that is essentially just as important as working, finishing that job and doing it well. Should we pay our kids? There's some jobs on the homestead and in the house that just aren't fun, like cleaning the top of the shower or cleaning out the chicken coop. Now, if a child goes and does that, then I will pay them. And it's right next to the list. We have a list of different chores that just aren't fun, that I don't even want to do. And if the child goes and does that, then they get the $20 or whatever it is. But that's because they went and they did the job well done. They went and did something that nobody else wanted to do. Now, if we're all working as a family, no, there's not any reward beyond going and doing something fun. So fun can be the reward. And I don't think reward always has to be tied to money. Unless it's just something, it's one of those jobs that none of us really like to do. So sometimes money helps get those jobs done. So we're going to get into the next couple of tips about scheduling fun on the homestead in just a minute, but right now it is time for the Growing with God segment of this episode, where you and I dive into the Bible and learn more about our Lord and Savior. Today we're reading Psalms 27, 1 through 3, and if you'd like to read along with me, I'm reading out of the NIV translation. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? When the wicked advance against me to devour me, it is my enemies and my foes who will stumble and fall. Though an army besiege me, my heart will not fear. Though war break out against me, even then I will be confident. Now remember, most of the Psalms were written by David, King David, in the Bible. And he had a lot of times that he was fighting enemies, especially one of his greatest enemies was when King Saul was trying to kill him because he didn't want him to become his replacement. So he did have a lot of enemies in his life. Now, on our growing journey, and in everyday life, when we look at society, we do have enemies. We do have foes. We do have wicked things in this world that do try to come against us, that do try to devour us. But when the Lord is with us, when He is our light and He is our salvation, and He is our strength, who shall we fear? The Lord will go against the wicked. He will devour them. The enemies will stumble and fall. When we have the Lord at our side and we believe and trust in Him and lean on His strength, we can have confidence because the Lord is there to guide us. The Lord is there to help us. Though an enemy besieges me, my heart will not fear. Though war breaks out against me, even then I will be confident. On our growing journey, there's a lot of hurdles. And we can call them enemies or we can call them foes. Even right now, as I record this podcast, we have a thunderstorm warning and I can hear the thunder brewing and things billowing outside and the rain starting to fall down. And sometimes I hear a few hailstones. Now, I can be worried and fearful that my garden is going to be wiped out from hail and things are going to be damaged. But I also can know that the Lord has a plan for me. He has a plan beyond this world. He has a plan beyond my growing journey that is going to take me to somewhere that there is no fear. There is no enemy. There is no foe. It is in His company. And I can trust that He will get me through it. Will it be very sad that all my tomatoes get ruined? I've had it happen before. I've had my full garden wiped out and I was completely devastated. If you go to my website and check out the poem, Pray Just Plant, you will understand my trepidation of how I got through that hailstorm. And it was because I prayed and then I just kept moving forward. And we have that in our wheelhouse when we have the Lord with us. When we pray to Him for guidance and ask for His strength, then we, on our growing journey, remember that the Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? When the wicked advance against me to devour me, it is my enemy and my foe who will stumble and fall. Though an army besiege me, my heart will not fear. Though war breaks out against me, even then I will be confident. Psalms 27. 1 through 3. So just remember that this week. The Lord is your salvation. So who shall you fear? Back to scheduling fun on the homestead. We've talked about fun in the work, finding fun at home, not always working, taking some rest, having some fun, and making reward a fun time. What about a life or building a life that doesn't need a vacation? When we are doing our dream, when we are fulfilling our dream on our growing journey, we're growing the food, we are doing all the things the Lord asks us and that we have been dreaming of doing, why would we want a vacation from it? Me personally, my husband, he works outside of the home and off the homestead, and he enjoys a vacation from his work. And he does because his work is his work to him. But to me, the growing journey is not work. When I'm out in the garden, just before I came in to record this podcast, I was out in the garden weeding the asparagus and I was enjoying it. It was peaceful for me. It was what I had dreamed about doing all day yesterday when I couldn't get into the garden. And when I'm out milking my goats or moving the meat chickens, it's something that I've always wanted to do. So to me, my growing journey is my dream. And I'm building a life that I don't need a vacation from. In fact, me personally, I'm more stressed on vacation than I am in my home. I am on my homestead. I am here talking to you because I'm away from my dream. Yes, it's nice to go spend time with family, but it's so stressful going into hotels and dealing with other people. I'm an introvert. I don't know if you've noticed, but it's stressful to me. And that's why I've built this life around me. I love going out and moving the cows every day. I love walking through the pastures. I love spending time outside. I even was weeding this morning when it started to rain a little bit. I wasn't ready to go inside. A little bit of rain didn't stop me from weeding my garden because it's something that I love. Now, cleaning my house, that is something that the Lord asked me to do. He gave me a family. I need to be doing it. Is it what I love? To me, cleaning house is work. But being out in the garden, being out with my animals, growing on my growing journey, learning about we've been talking about this week a lot about how we're going to figure out AI, artificial insemination, for our heifers that we are growing this year. To me, learning about all that stuff is joyful. I could spend all day, every day, learning and growing here on the homestead or on my growing journey or reading books. I mean, I'm reading You Can Farm by Joel Salatin. I'm actually reading 2 or 3 books, but most of them are all about farming because those are the things I love. So if your growing journey is something that you love, or you need to tweak it to bring it into something that you love, you need to make a life that doesn't need a vacation. And we've done that by doing a few of the tips that I suggested before, by bringing fun into the work. I could go out and do my meat chickens and get the kids helping me, and we're going to march up there and we're going to do the meat chickens, or we can casually go up there, we can sword fight along the way, then we can all gather around, move the meat chickens, and we can gather everything up, finish things up there, soak the grain for the next day, and sword fight on the way home, and it can be fun. It doesn't have to be work, and we need to find fun at home. If your growing journey is spending time at home, then bring things into the home that will be fun. It doesn't have to be things in front of the TV. You can buy cross-country skis to go venturing out on your own property. You can invest in a trampoline that only takes very minimal work to set up, and it's something that can bring fun, but it's fun at home. Invest in a picnic table. Go outside and have suppers and dinners and lunch and breakfasts outside through the summer so that you can enjoy something different, having fun. Build a life that you don't need a vacation from, and that will include fun very easily because you're doing something you already love to do. The next thing is, in this day and age, we always feel like we have no control. We're very busy people. I can't go do this because I am very busy. I need to make sure I'm doing this on my growing journey because I'm just so busy. Who controls your busyness? Does the people that are saying, oh, you need to have all your kids in all these sports, or, oh, you need to be doing your growing journey just like this? Do we have to follow what they say? We can choose to follow what they say, but in truth, you are in control of your calendar. You are in control of what you do every single day. You are in control of booking fun, and you have to do it. You have to book that fun. If you're going to include it on your growing journey, I have to make a day, and I have to schedule which day it's going to be. And we talk together with my husband. Okay, this day we have this done. This day. Well, okay, it looks like this day is the only day nobody really has a big project going on this week, so we're going to have fun this day. Let's go and take the kids on a hike. Or let's go and walk the pasture fence, and we can check fence, but we can have fun along the way. You are in control of your calendar. Your calendar is your greatest asset, or it can be your greatest trap. Because you can say yes to everything and say no to yourself, or you can say no sometimes and book yourself on your calendar. If you don't include yourself and include your kids and include your fun on your calendar, then it's never going to get done. And it doesn't have to wait till, we'll go on vacation when, or we'll get the trampoline when, or we'll do this when we get this, and making it dependent. No. You control the calendar. You control when you wake up in the morning. You control when you go to bed at night. If you want to have fun, you have to schedule it. You are in control. Not your calendar is in control of you. You are in control of your calendar. All of us have the same 24 hours a day. All of us have the same 7-day week. All of us have the same 31 day month. It's up to you to schedule the fun and schedule the time with your family, as well as scheduling your growing journey. You need to schedule that into it. It should be the second thing on your list to do. You need chores scheduled, then you need your projects scheduled, and then your fun scheduled. You can let your calendar run you, and you will burn out. You will be exhausted, and you will be that hateful word, busy. Or you can run your calendar and you can schedule that time with your family. You can schedule that time with your extended family. You can schedule when you want to spend and have fun. Personally, the past year, we know what we've all been going through, all the separation that they're trying to get us to go through. And we spent how many months not seeing each other, not seeing anybody beyond our household. And so our family, my extended family as well of us, we've been scheduling family dinners twice a month. And that means they either come to our house or we go to their house and we have a dinner together because we are making it a priority. We are making time with our family a priority. And you can do the same with fun. So let's recap. We need to put fun in our work. Yes, we are working on our growing journey and everything needs to be done, but can't we include a little fun on the way? Between each tour, you can add fun. You can add fun on the walk. You can add fun in many different ways. Find fun at home. Invest in things that can bring fun to your home instead of investing in things that take you away from your home to have fun. How about not always working? Schedule some time to rest, to have fun with your kids. And it doesn't have to be a working day. It can be on the homestead, but you don't have to be working. Schedule those bonfires. Schedule those times of when you want to have fun. Make reward fun time. There's nothing better than a job well done. And that job well done shouldn't just be pushed off and gone into another job. You need to spend time celebrating that job well done, and that could mean doing something fun, even for 15-20 minutes between jobs. That reward is important. Does it always have to be money or other things, objects? No, it can be time. It can be time with your family doing something fun. A life that doesn't need a vacation. You are in control of your life. Just like in the next one, you are in control of your calendar. And when you create a life that you love, you don't need a vacation from it. And in fact, taking a vacation can be even more stressful than staying home and enjoying a few days of rest at home, doing something together as a family. So I want to thank you for joining me today in this episode of the Pray Just Plant podcast. And if this is your first time, I want to welcome you to the Red Ridge Farm Fellowship of Fellow Growers. And be sure to check out the show notes of this episode where you can go in deeper on this topic. In the description, I share all that I can, but in the show notes, I can share more and go deeper. And like I said, I can show more pictures and more descriptions. It's really hard to explain those to you here. There's a link below for the show notes, or you can go to my website, www.redridgefarm.org. And if you go to /resources, you can find resources that will help you on your growing journey. Again, I want to thank you for joining me today. And as always, don't let the world hold you back. Pray, just plant.